Alright, so this is Nephthys Shadowcraft. This is a deck that was created during the previous meta, previous expansion, Rise of Bahamut. The best way to describe this deck is kind of like a control deck, because it's kind of slow, has a lot of defensive tools. But it's a control deck that has a very, very strong late game, and that late game all revolves around the aforementioned Nephthys, which this deck is named after. So let's take a look at what Nephthys is. This is Nephthys. So you can see she's an 8-drop, has fairly poor stats for an 8-drop 5/5. And she has one of the most unique effects in the entire game for a follower. So what she does is she randomly puts followers at different costs from your deck, other than herself, into play, and then she kills all those followers. So you look at this effect, and the obvious way to abuse it would be to fill up your deck with last words followers, strong last words followers. So obviously, since we're going to do that, we have to include the two strongest last words followers that Shadowcraft has access to, and those are Mordecai the Duelist and Underworld Watchman Khawy. So Mordecai is another 8-drop with similar stats, 5/5, and he's basically unkillable. He dies, and then he just summons himself. Basically, the only way to kill him is to banish him. And then we have Underworld Watchman Khawy. Khawy is very, very similar to Sylvanas from Hearthstone. Basically, if you play him, a lot of times it forces the opponent to make very, very awkward trades to play around his effect. So what he is he's just a ward, 7-drop, and when he dies, then he kills the strongest enemy follower, the one with the highest attack, and then he heals you for however much that attack is. So yeah, really, really strong defensive card. So we have to include those two, and then the rest of the deck is just other followers that may or may not have a strong last word effect. So the first thing about Nephthys is you look at her effect, and at first glance, it seems like it's a RNG Clown Fiesta deck. And honestly, you can't just stick Nephthys into any Shadowcraft deck, right? Because if you just put her into like a standard deck, she is an RNG card. But she's the type of card that demands you to build a deck around her. So one of the ways you minimize her RNG is by building the deck a specific way. And the way you do that is by followers, and you have to run followers at very, very specific costs. So the thing to remember that in Shadowverse, the maximum board size is 5. So in the ideal situation where you play Nephthys on an empty board on turn 8, then you play her, and so that means there's 4 spaces left over, right? And so it means that if you want to have, like, if you want to minimize the RNG, then you must run followers at only 4 different costs. And since Khawy and Mordecai are auto-include for this kind of effect, so that's 7/8, that means you really only have 2 costs. So anything from 1 all the way to 6. So because of this, there's a lot of different ways you can build this deck, and actually people in the community, there's basically no consensus over the best way to build a Nephthys deck. In the previous expansion, the most popular build, early on at least, was followers at 2, 4, and then 7/8, obviously. But then at the end of Rise of Bahamut, 2, 3, 7/8 was more popular. I think most people agree that was stronger and more consistent. I know some people like to have 6 as well, because there's a follower called Balor who has like an AoE effect when he dies, but in my opinion he's a bit too slow, not really impactful enough. So yeah, you gotta have 7/8, and then the rest of the deck, you can choose. And then if you want to run more than 4 different types of followers, then yeah, doing that does add more RNG to her effect, so that you're not always guaranteed to pull the 2 big ones, which are Khawy and Mordecai. But yeah, that's Nephthys. And so basically this is a control deck, and to understand like why she's so strong, like you should go and one by one analyze each of the effects, each of the things that she does. So basically you play Nephthys, right? Ideally you play her on an empty board. She pulls Mordecai. So just like that, you've played 2 8-drops for the price of 1. she also pulls and kills Khawy, so you get to use a removal spell on your opponent's strongest minion, and they also heal for that much. Okay, and then if there are any other weaker last word effects, that's a bonus. But the other thing is, because she's pulling followers from your deck and killing them, then essentially she's also thinning out your deck by 4. So that's insane. For 8 play points, you do all those things. You summon 2 8-drops, kill yourself, remove, and thin out your deck by 4. It's a really insane effect. And of course, there's also shadow generation too, because you gain 4 shadows from her killing your own stuff. So yeah, that's Nephthys. Really, really strong late game effects. So because of that, the deck is basically very, very defensive. You're trying to survive to turn 8. And then once you play Nephthys, as long as you're not lethal range or you're not against like some OTK deck, then usually you can win the game comfortably after that. So, in terms of new additions to this deck, from Tempest to the Gods, this deck didn't really get that much, but it did get some love. First up, there's this spell, Zombie Party. It's a 2-cost spell, deals 3 damage, which is really, really nice, right? Because, doing 3 damage for 2 play points is really, really efficient. Basically, it allows you to kill every 2-drop in the game, and like probably 95% of all the playable 3-drops. The only thing this doesn't kill is Zoe from Havencraft. That's like not very commonly seen. And then on top of that, it also has this nice enhance effect for 7. So if you enhance it, then it deals 3 damage, and also builds you a board of 3 zombies. So it's a really strong tempo play if you play it on 7. The other new addition is this card, Death's Ledger. So Death's Ledger, this is a card that a lot of people thought was a total joke when it was released, kind of like Nephthys. And it's not really hard to see why, because at first glance, it looks like an RNG Clown Fiesta card. So you see the text here, it's a countdown amulet, countdown 2. You play it, and then basically at the end of turn, it summons a random Shadowcraft follower from your deck. And it has to cost less than a total number of play points in your deck to play, and then it just kills it. So kind of like a mini Nephthys. Now, it seems like an RNG Clown Fiesta card, but we have to carefully read this text here. The important part of the text is the fact that it says put a random Shadowcraft follower. So that means it will not pull neutrals. So because of Ledger, the way we build the deck to abuse Ledger's effect is basically for all followers that are less than 7, we only run strong Shadowcraft Last Words followers. So you look here, and the only Shadowcraft followers I have that are cheaper than 7 are these 2, Attentive Knight and Hell's Unleasher. So both of these have the same effect when they die. They summon the 4/4 Lich, right? And then because of that, then the other followers we have that are less than 7 are just all neutrals. So we have just the really, really generically strong neutral followers like Unica, Lyriel, Grimnir, which is like run in basically every deck right now, and then also Angel of the Word. If you want more defense, you could also run Healing Angel, because Healing Angel is another strong 3-cost follower that also heals you. So the other cool thing about Ledger, now that we've built the deck to minimize the RNG of it, it's a countdown of 2, right? So if you play this on curve, on turn 4, it basically thins out your deck by 2 because it's summoning 2 minions from your deck. It thins out your deck by 2 and also summons 2 sets of 4/4s for you. So Ledger is a way to get free value, although it's free value distributed over 2 turns, and it also thins out your deck so that you get better draws in late game. Because as you know, if you played Shadow at all in previous expansions or this one, top decking an Attentive Knight or a Hell's Unleasher and being forced to play it is really, really bad. But when you have something that kills automatically for you, it's quite a bit stronger. So, and then you look at the rest of the deck, other than the strong neutral followers, we also have Soul Conversion, which is a nice draw engine. 1 PP draw 2 is insane, honestly. But it does have a drawback because you have to destroy one of our followers. The ideal targets for that are Attendant, as well as Hell's Unleasher. We also have Death's Breath, which is a 3 of. It's one of the best defensive cards in the entire game. Playing this on curve actually shuts down certain decks completely. Like against certain aggro decks, playing this on 6 with the full effect just gives you a concede right away. And this deck does not have trouble generating shadows because of Ledger. And because we don't really have much in the way of hard removal in this deck, because we're not running cards like Lurching Corpse or Necro Assassin, then we run Deathbrand, which is hard removal. So traditionally in Nephthys decks, for the 3-cost removal spells, one that was really popular was the I can't remember the name. It's the one that enhance effect summons Pluto. Oh, I remember now. It's Pact of the Netherworld, Nether God. Yeah, it's the one that kills anything that has 4 life or less. This is not run in this deck because we don't have actual hard removal, and we don't have a lot of last words activators, so we have to run Deathbrand instead. So yeah, that is the deck. Right now, in the current Dragon and Shadow infested meta, this deck is actually quite strong. A lot of people thought that in Tempest, because Dragon got a card called Lightning Blast, which gives him easy banish, that Nephthys would be dead and completely buried. But it turns out that its matchup is still really, really good. It's just no longer an auto loss for Dragon. Now Dragon actually has a chance in this matchup, but it's still favored for Nephthys. The main weaknesses of the deck, it's basically weak to any kind of combo deck, like any kind of deck with a stronger late game win condition, or some kind of OTK. So like Dimension Shift Runecraft, or White Wolf Forest, and even I guess Havencraft. Luckily, all 3 of those decks are not really that popular in the current meta, so you can get away with having a bad matchup against those 3. And I guess if we were to compare this deck to the previous versions of it, it's more consistent. Right? You have less of a chance of bricking because we don't have the combo cards like a Necro Assassin or Lurching Corpse. Those are cards that require other cards to interact with them to really bring out their potential. We don't run those cards. And we also have Ledger, and Ledger has a deck thinning effect that ensures you get the really good draws in the mid to late game. Another really, really cool thing about this deck is that it's really, really cheap. You see that this deck only has 1 legendary. It's Nephthys. That's it. But even though Nephthys is the only legendary, still has a couple of gold cards you gotta have, like Mordecai, Ledger, and Death's Breath. But yeah, other than that, this is a relatively cheap competitive deck. Shadow vs. Shadow? We're going first, so that's good. Even though our deck does not directly benefit from going first, it's good to go first just to deny the other Shadow player the initiative. We're just always assuming this is either aggro or mid-range. Alright, well, I got a 2. That's good. Unica is better. We can save Lyriel for the evolution turns. Alright, I just play on curve. Hit 3-drop. Go face. Technically, we could try to deny Catacomb value by trading into the 2-2 here. But right now, you can't kill the 2-3, so it's better to go face here. kind of a questionable play. His hand must be bad. Here comes the book. We're like super ahead right now. It's pretty crazy. There's the cat. That's an amazing, amazing, amazing pickup. So now we have Angel of the Word for a ping, and then we have Lyrial Evolve for another ping. So just play those two. We can clear off most of his board, except for the 1-2. Send everything else face. Evolve Lyrial. What a bizarre twist of fate. The control deck is somehow rushing down the tempo deck. Good strong. Couldn't really play around that though. Alright, now we have Death's Breath activated. He must be really desperate for resources to make that play. Alright, obviously we play Death's Breath. Since we're like so far ahead, we're actually going to offensive evolve the 4-4 instead of lethal. It's kind of annoying. We're still really ahead though. Just fill the board. The next turn we have Nephthys. If he somehow manages to clear. Very unlikely though. Where's the Iktur? You can almost clear. It's not going to be enough though. Alright, so it's generally best to play Nephthys on an empty board. And right now there's actually no way we can completely empty our boards. We could suicide the Unleasher and then suicide the Lyrial, but it still leaves with a 4-4. So the best play here is kill off the 2-1 with the Unleasher, use the Death Brand to get rid of Iktur, and then send everything else face. No need to play the Unleasher. We have lethal board. Yep. Keep the 2-drop. Alright, so we have a 2-3, it's not bad. Ideally, we would not want to play Attendant Knight on curve. Generally, you want the Ledger to pull it for you. For the 2. Wow, really? Okay. Attendant. Probably gonna play Unleasher next turn if we don't get anything better. Well, that's better. Well, unfortunately, it allows him to suicide the Ayla, but it is worth it for this value. Oh wow, double Ayla. I want to make him have the trades. And then we're not going to soul convert this, just to have a stickier board. Because he has 6, right? So that's the enhanced Breathless Salamander turn. Okay, so we could play Death's Breath here. The important thing here is to look at his play points. He's at 7, which means he's going to have 8 next turn. So he can't play Bahamut or enhance Lightning Blast yet. So we're going to try to keep this board as long as we can. Instead of suiciding the 31 to here, what we're going to do is going to zombie party, actually. We're going to zombie party the Unica, and then we're going to play and evolve Intendant of Night into the Rahab, and that gives us the best board. Oh wait, never mind. That's actually... I don't know if that's the best play. I think my play was better. Zombie Party and Attendant. This does give us a better board, but it's more vulnerable to AoE clearing. Okay, well now he ramped. Very unfortunate for us. Okay, so that was a really weak play from him. For whatever reason, he floated 6 play points. But the problem is, now he's going to have 10 next turn, which is the Bahamut / Lightning Blast turn. So we're not going to play anything. We're just going to send everything face, and just see what he plays next. Don't want to commit too hard to the board, because a Lightning Blast would be devastating if we put anything else on it. There's Bahamut. He's forced to evolve here. That's very, very good. Forcing out evolves from Dragon. Now that he has no more evolves, we don't have to worry about getting hit by a Zell combo for like 13 damage. So that's good. Deathbrand. Make a stickier board. Go face. Now we have lethal on board. Olivia. Okay. It's a very interesting card to run in this type of deck. That's another very weird card. Okay, so, we could play Nephthys here, but again, if we play Nephthys, it's going to be RNG, because it's not an empty board. So, since we have no more evolves, best play here is to zombie party the Olivia, and send the 1/1 go face. Gives us a nice big board. Again, we could have soul converted the 1/1, but gives us a stickier board. There's Bahamut, and again, he's forced to evolve to stay alive. Alright, now we Nephthys. Basically, if you ever draw Death's Ledger past turn 8, you never play it. But you don't have to, because at that point, you should be playing your late game bombs like Mordecai, Nep, and Khawy. So now we play Nep. Sick. And we can also soul convert to draw more cards. He needs Lightning Blast. There it is. But it doesn't matter, we have lethal. First, just keep the 3-drop. You never keep Mordecai. In this matchup, though, it is worth keeping Nephthys, but only if you're 100% sure it's ramp, not aggro. But most of the time it's ramp. Alright. Well, we have a 3 and 4. That's good. He misses his ramp. That's great news for us. Grimnir. And next turn, most likely play Ledger. Wow, okay. Skip. We're super far ahead now. He needs Dragon Warrior to take care of this. Unfortunately, we don't have enough shadows for Deathbrand, but in any case, it is help to save it, because we do need to use Deathbrand on Dragoncraft since they have such big followers. So, best play here is to Suicide Evolve Valerial. That way we keep the 4-4 alive, play Grimnir, and then we get another 4-4 at the end of turn. Just like that, we're super ahead. Yeah, look at that board. There's no way he's clearing this. So pretty annoying. And now we have shadows for Deathbrand. Set up lethal. That's not gonna be enough. Nope. We have the answer. This is why Deathbrand is great.
我の復活を望んだか。
僕に逆らうつもりなの？許さない。痛い。さて仕事しますか。大丈夫、死んだら神様が待ってるよ。
僕は供物、万物供物さ。
我の復活を望んだか。
さて一暴れしちゃおっと。ルナと遊ぼう。久しぶりに暴れちゃおうかな。
我は何度でも。
ルナと遊ぼう。残念、もう帰らないと。痛い。
我は何度でも。
獲物発見、行くぞ。
見せてあげる。魂って鮮度が大事。痛い。
俺に手を出そうってか。
怒んないでよ。ぶっ飛ばすわ。痛い。許さない、許さない、許さない、許さない、許さない。痛い。痛い。痛い。怖いよ。怖いよ。痛い。
いざ尋常に。
許さない、許さない、許さない、許さない、許さない。ルナの負けだよ。パパ、ママ、ルナを守ってね。どうぞお覚悟を。
人呼んでさすらいの旅が静かな旅だ。
俺に手を出そうってか。
人呼んでさすらいの旅がいる。静かな旅だ。
あの方が怖くてたまらないだろう。俺に手を出そうってか。
我の復活を望んだか。
今こそ我らの
の正義を示すのだ。
我は何度
これで決めます。
自分探しの旅ってやつさ。静かな旅だ。
僕は供物、万物供物。
ルナと遊ぼう。
幾万の魂を君に捧げるよ。あとは任せたぞ。
そんな。
僕は供物、万物供物。
我の復活を望んだか。
お頭の身は私が守るやつ。覚悟はいいですか。欲しけりゃ奪う。それが流儀だ。
我は
静かな旅だ。
お頭。
我の復活を望んだか。
見せてあげる。
我の復活を望んだか。
名手の戦士を甘く見るなよ。
そんな。突っ込め突っ込め。
我は
降伏します。